we learn on the history.
Yeah.
But also also wish to know what something which was really surprising you in Africa when you reached here and you say that, is this really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was kind of blown away by the bodas, the motorcycle taxis.
Yes.
Where I come from, we have taxis, and we thought that our taxis were crazy. We have the yellow taxis, and they're everywhere. They're always damaged. They always get in accidents.
Mm-hmm.
And then I show up here,
Yeah.
and then you have motorcycle taxis. And I've always had a fear of riding on the back of a motorcycle.
Yeah.
But since I've been here, I've kind of overcome that, and I've actually grown to love bodas. It's like my favorite form of transport today. Just before this interview, I was coming back from MPG, and I had my headphones on, listening to some good music, going back on the back of a boda. It's the best vibes. I've had some crazy experiences with bodas. I was in Kampala recently, on my way to Jinja, and I mean, it's just indescribable. Riding on the back of a motorcycle there, it's just absolute chaos. I mean, swerving in opposite traffic, and you have guys on their motorcycles carrying giant pieces of wood, and they carry them horizontally.
Yeah.
So it's a tiny little motorcycle, but they take up like 3 lanes. And I'm on the back of this thing. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna get taken out by this pole. You know, a bunch of crazy stuff like that. But one of the things I found funny about riding the motorcycle in Kampala was there are a couple areas, but one of the areas I passed through was heavily controlled by police. So you couldn't break any rules the rules that they normally break all the time. And ironically, this area had the most traffic in Kampala. So the area that had the most laws had the most traffic, whereas all the other areas where people were allowed to, move around as crazily as they want to, it's, free flowing, and you don't have to ever stop much, which I found to be pretty ironic. You think the more rules, the less traffic, but it seems to be quite the opposite. But yeah, the motorcycle taxis are pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it is good. That is also, this is Africa.
Yeah.
That is the issue of motorcycle. For us, it is normal, and we are familiar. And yeah, but also I have to know this. If someone give you right now $1 million USD, which investment will you do?
Well, with $1 million, I'd probably first find a financial advisor, because I definitely don't know much about managing money. I'd give them some money to invest, and then, from my experience and my family's experience, I think always the safest bet, depending on the area, of course, but at least for us in Panama, it's always been real estate. Investing in a house that you can, over time, it appreciates in value as you do redevelopments little by little, and it's really all in your hands how you market your house and how you sell it. You can do Airbnb, and so I'd probably look into doing something with real estate for sure. But if I wasn't planning on making money and I could just do whatever I wanted with $1 million, I'd probably buy some compound in the woods in Portugal, have all my friends come there, someplace we could just live off the land and not be disturbed by any cities or urbanization and stuff like that. Yeah, I love going in the forest, so that'd probably be it if I didn't have to make money.
Yeah, maybe anything which you can share to inspire other youths, maybe who are suffering on the street, maybe due to their hard life, no job, and anything, maybe message to inspire them.
Sure. I read a book recently. I'm blanking on the author's name, but it's a real famous book, came out about 80 years ago. And it's how to make friends and develop relationships. And it sounds kind of like a basic thing. We all know how to make friends for the most part. But it gets into one story specifically about this kid in the early 1900s in the United States called Edward Bok. And he wanted to create a magazine company, right? He wanted to own his own magazine. He had barely graduated high school, had like 3 years of education perhaps. He was like 15, and he thought, well, how am I going to do this? What he did, most people would never think of this. They think, oh, I want to start a magazine company. God, I don't have any money. What am I going to do? They'd probably give up pretty soon. What he did, he went to a library and he bought a book, Great American Biographies, and it's a book about a book of biographies about famous Americans and their success stories. And he went through the book and he wrote letters to every single person he could that was alive in the book. He wrote letters to famous army generals, the wife of Abraham Lincoln at the time. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of letters. And eventually, people started writing back, these super famous people that everybody knew. He took the time to reach out to them. And what his main strategy was, is he learned about the person before he went and wrote them letters. And, you know, he showed an interest in people. And that's what we all want, you know. I mean, we want people to be interested in what we're interested in. And one of the famous people he wrote to was Ulysses S. Grant, famous Army general in the United States. And he wrote to him about this specific battle he was in. He was, I want to know more about this battle. And the general was kind of taken aback by this. He's like, well, you know, most people don't do this. They think, God, if I write to some famous person, they're never going to write back, so why would I write in the first place? But he kept writing these letters. So eventually the general invited him over to his house. They had dinner. They became friends. He introduced him to his friends. And by the end of a year or two, he had developed enough connections and a network of influential people that it was easy to make his magazine company. They all helped him, and eventually he became a very successful magazine editor for years. So I think for me the main takeaway from that story is that success doesn't necessarily need to come from money. Money definitely helps, but even without money or without much education, if you read the landscape of your area, and obviously this wouldn't work in a lot of areas, you know, a lot of areas don't have that many famous people to reach out to or even a mailing system. But if you just find opportunities in your area and you think, you know, what could I put 100% of my effort into, and what would give me the most returns? Because that's really what we have as people that's most powerful, more so than money or talent or anything, is the amount of effort we put into things. So I think, yeah, if you want to become successful in life, and obviously they're very different definitions of success. I don't necessarily think it's money, but I think, you know, if you want to achieve whatever you want in life, I think just putting a large amount of effort into something and thinking about it intelligently, I think is the way to go.
Yeah, thank you. I think it is been an amazing moment and also amazing things. And one things which is really important I get from Gray is connection to people. And also I think most of us, we wish to be connected with the biggest people, or those people like Bill Gates and those famous and rich people. But what we do most of the time, we go to them and without having any kind of uniqueness. But also from the history of Facebook, which lady said that sometimes it is most important to learn and to know about someone, to know him in deep, and that you can go to him in a unique way, because just remember there are a number of people who are visiting or writing to him, but if you do something unique, I think it will be great. Yeah, thank you so much. And this is EM Online TV. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe, share and like and comment. Thank you.
Thanks.